Here on TV47, we continue pace with the conversation with our panelists. And before we took a short break, I'd asked Javas Bigambo to continue to enlightening us and telling us what is the measuring or the metrics they're using to see the traction of the Nadco report.
Dibal, you were talking about maybe we are wandering or shooting in the dark. Now, President William Ruto is not a wandering Jew. He's clear-minded about the direction that he wants the country to take. My fellow panelists here are fully seized of the fact that the president is talking about the idea of Kenya moving forward from the level it has operated for far too long about being a third world country, a developing country. Kenya can move forward, and it takes the exploratory imagination of the leaders. And he's the leader of our times, who is coming up with a new dream, a new vision, a new perspective about taking Kenya forward. Dibal, when you look at the 10-point agenda, all of them, you realize that there are issues that transcend the present imagination and interests of UDA and ODM. There are issues that speak to nationalism. There are issues that speak to our economic significance, the development of this country. When you look at the times in which we live, we are homo economicus, we are homo digitus. We're individuals who are being driven and defined by the state of the economy and the state of the digital space all over the world in this 21st century. When it comes to issues you asked Mheshimiwa Kirwa about protection of devolution, Dibal, President William Ruto, on record, when you look at the financial year 2024-2025 and 2025-2026, look at the variance of shareable revenue that has been sent to county governments, an increase of 28%. Presently, this year, financial year 2025-2026, it is 415 billion. And you also realize that the president believes in the issue of the independence of institutions, protection of the independence of constitutional commissions and independent offices. We have seen, for example, even the reports by the Auditor General and even the Control of Budget, periodically even highlighting some issues that chastise the national government's perspective of issues. You've not seen the president frowning and going for the jugular, because independent institutions need to act independently. The president believes in matters inclusion, hence that the issue of inclusiveness in all spheres of life as one of the key issues in the 10-point agenda. Now, today, our committee engaged with the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. You may recall, Dibal, that the High Court rendered a decision recently that the issue of compensation, for instance, on matters protests, falls within the ambit of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. You've seen that the chair of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights was gazetted as a vice chair to the Makao Mutua panel, which panel now has been converted into an advisory agency to the president on the issue of reparations. Now, still on the issue of inclusion, the president is keen on matters of minorities. Today in our discussion, I was engaging even with Dr. Dennis Wamalwa, a commissioner, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, whom in fact, his recommendation to become a commissioner came directly from the then Deputy President William Ruto, who is now president. He believes in inclusion. When you look at the manner in which Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is engaging on matters of minorities and inclusion across the country, including matters of those that, for example, people do not consider as critical, for example, the intersex issue. For example, Dr. Wamalwa is an intersex person, and right now we have got even an intersex bill in Parliament today, in the Senate, that is being railroaded to be an act. Look at that spirit of inclusion that President William Ruto is keen on. When it comes
what is intersex?
Now you see, Well, and I appreciate that.
Isn't that meant to be a bit personal?
No, it's not personal.
Help me to...
no, it's not personal.
No, he's not come himself to actually...
No, he has, in fact...
confirm that he is innocent.
No, in fact, I speak on authority of his even guidance, because he has spoken on various platforms, including media. Let me help Dr. Muluka, my great uncle here.
Yes.
Now, intersex are persons who are born by way of definition are neither male or female because of the multiplicity of chromosomes and even the duality of the organs. All right? Oh. And it's not their own choice or making.
So how did
it's a minority
that this particular one?
But because he has told us even. And so and that's why
it's of a subsidiary interest.
Correctly. My particular issue was on the issue of minorities here. Secondly, but on the issue of, for example, the rule of law and constitutionalism.
No. Before you even go to the rule of law, if you're talking about the minority,
yes,
we have the African court here that has ruled that the Ogiek community should be compensated.
Yes.
Why has it not really happened until now? If he's really particularly intent on making sure that justice is meted out and also they are compensated, they are the minority groups. I mean, for the longest time, justice has not been served.
Correct. When was that decision rendered? Way back. And I can tell you for sure, Dibal, that even our committee is properly seized of that matter as a critical issue that will be highlighted among our critical recommendations that should be prioritized. Because President William Ruto, on record, even while engaging with the committee, was speaking and guiding the work of the committee. And when he spoke to us with respect to matters, extensive consultations that this committee must undertake, President William Ruto does not want any group, especially minorities, being left behind in the economy that is driving, in the kind of country that he believes in. And that is why he's very keen to see that this committee that's overseeing the implementation of the 10-point agenda and the Nadco report engages all critical stakeholders, government agencies, county governments, departments, civil society, individuals, trade unions, etc. Because the views of every institution, every entity, every Kenyan is very crucial, very critical on how Kenya can move to becoming or moving to the direction of the Asian tigers as they did between 1960s and 1990. And he has on record spoken about the issue of Singapore.
Thank you. Maybe on the issue of also, since you're engaging all stakeholders, we'll want to know also, and maybe you can also probe the issue as well, Mr. Kirwa. Stopping wastage of public resources and promoting government efficiency. That is also one key element of the Memorandum of Understanding, and we want to also know from your perspective what you've been doing. Big ripoff. MCA's top county staff vanish with car house loans. This is what is the headlining story in tomorrow's publication of the Star.
Well, it's very interesting because if I was to reassign Javas another job, I would give him a job of government spokesperson because he's able to demonstrate even things that we know they are very untrue. Issues of the budget, issues of prudent management of resources is very clear in this government that there is higher wastage than it was in the previous governments, notwithstanding the fact that possibly the budget is bigger and therefore they waste more compared to the other regimes. You'll also be able to know that 6 billion goes to non-existent schools in various parts of the country, schools that don't exist, but it goes as capitation. You'd also be able to know that the model that this regime funneled out in terms of education funding model is upside down. It's not able to assist the children. And the recent case is the question of taking some of the candidates to girls' schools when they are boys, which means that the issue of choice was not considered in terms of grade 10. The current students joining high school. And we'll also be able to know that 10 billion shillings disappeared that we do not trace when it comes to e-citizen. You will also be able to know that the State House has been gobbling billions of shillings under what we call renovation, What are we renovating in State House almost every other day? It will also be able to assist us know exactly where prudent management of resources went when it came to this regime. These are terms that you should be able to assist us, notwithstanding the fact that I will give him that job, but in a government that is responsive to the needs of Kenyans. He will also be able to know that today, those in the poverty bracket has gone up compared to the previous regimes. And notwithstanding the budget that we are now dealing with is about close to 4 trillion. And you'll be able to know that the debt portfolio, external and internal, has gone up beyond 11 trillion. These are terms that are clear. And when you talk of inclusivity, it should be inclusive in terms of in the class, so that we don't have 42 people owning what almost the larger percentage of our national wealth, and the majority of people at the bottom are suffering. But more important, Debal, is that let us also be very objective and accept that some of the dreams, like even going to Singapore, is a dream that will not take off for the next 10 years. A dream must be put on government policy. That's why we had 2030 vision, 2030, which was clear to everybody that what we want to do in terms of infrastructure, in terms of service industry, in terms of food security, and all other aspects that really contribute towards that vision. Today, we don't know the vision of this government. Today, it's either Nyota and quarreling imaginary people, and tomorrow is another story that does not tie with the previous story of the other day.
Right.
And also remind him that ODM, the Luo Nyanza votes that Raila has been enjoying is only 20%. The rest of 80% of the votes come from outside Luo Nyanza. And this therefore means that even if Ruto was to take ODM as a whole, only taking Luo Nyanza, he will be taking an empty shell, which does not compensate for the 4 million votes that he enjoyed from Mount Kenya region in the last general election. And also remind the president that whenever he goes elsewhere, he should not call other Kenyans wapumbavu. You remember the other day you were saying, oh, I cannot leave Central Kenya because you gave me the votes in the last election. Niende nitafute wapumbavu wengine. All of us, we may be naive, but we are not stupid. Because, and you know, it is not presidential to call other Kenyans wapumbavu. Yeah.
All right, we had the party chair lady saying that unity does not mean uniformity. I just want to also just ask you, because there's a political analyst who said that ODM has always outlived his rebels, citing former Secretary General Babu Namwamba as an example. And also he continues to say that maybe just, I'm talking about the future of ODM right now, that if Senator Sifuna, he says he's young and energetic, but one that his energy if his energy is misdirected, could torpedo his political career.
You know, for a start, ODM is one of those political entities that came into being as a manifestation of migration from a totalitarian space. Totalitarian space where we had a draconian party that was Baba na Mama, that did not brook any dissent, that did not listen to alternative voices. When you listen to Senator Sifuna, he's basically saying the things that ODM always said about democratic governance, about human rights, about equity, faulting this government for things which my nephew here turns on their head and presents almost as if they are fact. But we recognize that they live in an imaginary world where they will come with statistics, figures, memoranda, and stuff of that kind. But that commentator misleads himself and attempts to misguide the country, misguides even the ODM leadership if he thinks he's trying to help them, when he says that ODM has outlived
its rebels.
The rebels. We can start with rebel number one, William Ruto. William Ruto was the first rebel from ODM, and when he rebelled, he went and joined Uhuru Kenyatta, and they formed a government. They beat Raila Odinga, they beat ODM, hands down. You can say whatever you want to say about how Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto won that election, but they beat them. Uhuru Kenyatta became president. Rebel number one then took on Raila Odinga and ODM, and he became president. They have gone to that rebel number one, and they are kneeling before him. They are saying, rebel number one, we are now ready to worship you. Rebel number one, we are now ready to sing your praises. Rebel number one, we are now ready to support you for a second term. So I don't know where this analyst, if an analyst, he or she be, lives, who cannot see these kinds of things. Rebel number two was Najib Balala. He rebelled against ODM, and he served as a cabinet minister within the Uhuru Kenyatta cabinet. And there are many other rebels who ended up in government. What is the purpose of saying that you outlived them? I do not understand what this particular analyst means by outliving. Babu Namwamba rebelled, and after rebelling, he became a cabinet secretary in the William Ruto government, and these people have had to go to beg for inclusivity, yeah? Yeah?
In the memorandum of understanding.
Memorandum, an ambiguous memorandum of understanding, and they are now busy going back to William Ruto, who was a rebel, not to ask him that he should support them because his policies have failed, but to beg him to allow them to be number two. Where do you see people going to sit around a negotiating table to say that, please, we want to be number two? People go to that table saying we want to be number one. Mr. or Dr. Oburu Oginga should be telling the ODM fraternity that we want to get into a coalition with William Ruto and UDA, and because we are so strong, we went there to help them. We took there our experts, and our experts are working wonders there. We have demonstrated that we are better. He should allow us, in fact, to field the presidential candidate. And since he's not allowed to be a deputy president again, he should give us somebody who is going to be. That is the kind of exciting proposition that I'd like to hear. ODM lacks even leadership. When you listen to the party leader, Dr. Oburu Oginga, he's saying if we field a presidential candidate, he's talking in subjunctives. When did leaders talk in subjunctives? If, should.
All right.
Leaders say we are going this way. He does not even know where he's leading the party.
Thank you. We need to wind up. It's just remaining a few minutes to 11. So I'll just give you Javas Bigambo.
Yes.
Maybe your closing remarks?
Yeah, sure.
Briefly.
There's one thing that...
just briefly, because I'm being just out of the studio.
Yeah, Dr. Muluka says that I'm turning facts on their head. I want to challenge Dr. Muluka and even Waziri here to mention, for example, one single road the president has mentioned since he took office that is going to construct that is not under construction or being completed.
From Emmanuel. Let me give you.
No, just a minute.
Yeah.
Second, the president believes in the spirit of inclusion. For example, if at all he was a person that does not believe in inclusion, as past presidents have been, when the Central Kenya has been looking at him with cold eyes, he would have turned his back on Central Kenya. Look at even the remarks of the MP Gathoni Mushomba. She said that even in her own constituency, roads have been constructed. All projects in Mount Kenya are being undertaken, infrastructure, roads, etc., dams. Look at it. Look at Northern Kenya.
Thank you.
So I think we need to give it to the president.
Thank you.
That he's committing and he's delivering.
Thank you.
That's Comrade.
Allow me to close it, Barack.
Comrade Squilla.
Yeah, we put a comma on this. Yeah, we put a comma on this. I think it's a conversation that desires to continue, but because of the consequences of time.
Comrade Squilla.
Yeah. Comrade Rapkiwa, thank you for coming through. I really appreciate it. Dr. Barack Muluka, thank you for coming through. And also Javas Bigambo, thank you for coming through. I really do appreciate it. Getting excited, but of course the time is not really on our side today. We shall continue with this conversation next time. Thank you for tuning in. You've been watching The Insight.